When I get back to the US satellite, I'll break this guy out and we'll take a look at that and do a side-by-side. And finally, let's take a side-by-side look at the American satellites. The first one you've seen so far is the Mad Dog Resin one, which was available for a little while many years ago, and no longer. Basic paint scheme plus some decals that go onto the model. So here we are. Not quite half the size, but awful close. Now it comes to shape, proportion, relative size to the other AJA models. Obviously, Adam Johnson's is going to be more accurate than the Mad Dog Resin. That the Mad Dog Resin is based off of more of a concept drawing that was done rather than the actual filming studio model as the Adam Johnson was. It's going to be more accurate. In the years that I started building this, all the research that I had done further, I wanted to accuratize this as much as possible, showed me that there were some kind of holes going on in there, that the front here was covered up with that grating. This model did not come with that detail. This little glue tip tube that I put in there, there's some kind of detail going on in there that needs to be done. Adding these side areas here, that's still a work in progress, obviously. Putting all the panels underneath here, indeed, tons of panels everywhere to beef it up. I probably went far more than I ever should have. However, this is more accurate to the original model than the original model here was out of the box. There are still some more details to add, such as all the barnyard door stuff up top here, which hasn't been done yet. And overall, I'm glad to see that what I've done is pretty accurate, that these undersides are graded like that, and mine are not. There was no way for me to tell looking at the movie, of course. That I got other details, such as this here, that in this case only comes as a decal that's added on. I'm happy about that. So this one is so relatively simple, I may as well do a glue up, and I should have washed it when I had all the other materials out. Another thing that I don't... oh. And here's the decal details for those heatsink holes and those forward vent area looking things. What I do not have is the Air Force insignia. Looks like 5.9, but I had thought it was like an S3 in the movie, and a couple other small numbers. I may be able to hunt these up from some old military models if I'm lucky, or, at worst, I'll get some images and try and print something out that I can apply to this guy here. So the fact is that I really love the Mad Dog Resin American satellite. However, as 3 out of 4 satellites are AJA models, I think I'm going to go with all 4 of them being AJA models, and I'll put the Mad Dog. Perhaps it'll get its own platform. So these parts need to be washed immediately, and then it's just a quick assembly, maybe 10 minutes, and a mount on one side or the other. Little sanding to do on this part, for example. I suppose they've all got just a little touch-up to do. Major big gap and hole right in there. Yeah, so let me get busy with some basic quick cleanup here. Hopefully I won't have to use cutting wheel too much. And up here at the very least, these guys are ready to be mounted to the board. The US satellite needs some drilling for the mount itself. The French one needs some repairs and remounting on the other side. The German and the Chinese are ready to go. And that means they can at least start being placed, which means drilling the wood and making sure I got all my markings correct.